Welcome to ALPOUGH. Hope you're having a happy Wednesday. I am an adult of my spirit. I am an adult of my mind. I am an adult of my thought because I am what I think about, and so are you. I want to welcome you to today's show. Our topic today is let free your imagination. Since we were born, our imagination has been under attack. The moment we are born, our imagination is been dictated to us. As we get older, as we become spiritual beings, the best that we can be, we must learn that the imagination is the portal to the control of your thought, of your mind, and eventually in your body and taking over your spirit. Anybody who I've ever talked to, the most important thing for each one of us is to take control of your imagination because you are what you think about. Now, how does your imagination work? All right. The faculty or action of forming new ideas or images are concepts of external objects not present to the senses. So you don't smell it, you don't hear it, you don't touch it. It is, as I've talked about in other shows, an illusion. That's why when they start us off growing up, it's cartoons, imagination, Disney, the beginning, then imagination. Imagination is the ability to form mental images, phonological passages, analogies, or narratives of something that is not perceived through our senses. It comes through our eyes. Okay? Imagination is a manifestation of our memory and enables us to scrutinize our past and construct hypothetical future scenarios that do not yet but could exist. And we've talked about in the past about when your imagination, your thoughts, the things that you dwell on can come into existence. Okay? Every thought that you think becomes an intention. And because you're a spirit, it goes out and then manifests back into this world. Now, I'm going to give you a Bible scripture on this. I thought was interesting. You have the power given to you by God to control your thoughts and imagination. God designed you that way on purpose. Philippians 4:8-9. Now, I'm always putting in the name Sophia. Sophia created God to teach us. Now, it came from the Message Bible. It says this is about we are to think about and imagine. So again, it shows that you are what you think about. And I've said this at the beginning of each show. Be an adult of your thought, mind, and spirit. This is the whole theme of what this show is about, what this channel is about, and getting in touch with your spirit. So now let's take a look at some things here. Now use your imagination. Okay. So let's start off here. Let's look. Is he looking at you or does he have his face turned? You see how you see it? Is he looking at you? Or is that half his face looking at you? Or is he turned to the side? Let's do another one. Again, is he looking at you or is he turned to the side? To me, I would say he's turned left, but again, your imagination, what does it tell you? Is this an old elderly couple? Or is it more? Well, I can see somebody playing, a guitar player. I see someone on the left. On the grandma on the left side, it looks like that'd be an earring, but it's actually a tequila bottle. Again, what does our imagination tell us? What's this? Is it a face of a man? Or is it an open courtyard? What do you think? Is there a dip in the floor? Are you going to fall in? Is this an illusion? You see? Your imagination picks up both. So now, does this confuse the imagination? Kind of makes you feel like you're in a weird world and how you get under it. So now that you know, your imagination is actually a tool. And it's probably the most important tool in your growth, in your mind. We all have to make this decision to now protect our imagination, protecting it. It's extremely important that you are careful with yourself and your children on what is being placed in their imagination. It's hard to understand how some of these movies that young children are now watching, and also what the new world design is using and turning our children. So it starts with you. But what you put in. I'm going to only offer a couple of suggestions to even start, because I would say most of us, our imagination is being absolutely, without a doubt, being controlled. So we have to decide. All right. I'm gonna give you 2 suggestions. Stop watching violence as entertainment. I know that every other movie is all about violence. I don't watch it. But at times, I have to see what's out there so that I can understand what's going on. What's going on is being put in mothers' children's eyes. So one movie that struck me out was John Wick. And one movie, there was like 100 killings that he did. And no need to count how many in the 3 movies that John Wick did. How many people did he actually kill? And how many people were innocently killed and nobody cared? Only that the star made it through. Why do you think Star Wars has been around since 1976 with no end in sight and all the violence, and yet children watch it? And so what does it teaches us? It teaches us violence. And we must decide, guys. Read a book. Turn the TV off. Educate yourself. Be the spiritual being that you want to be, because this stuff gets old. But what it's leading us to, and you can see it now, this is a violent society we're living in. Now, not everywhere, but we're all aware of it, that it does exist. These mass shootings, all the wars going on. Our country's in like 7 wars and growing. And so we are being trained in a violent society. That's why here, the medicine, doctors are very good at trauma medicine now, because we're a military country, limbs blowing off. See? Excuse me. So if you can, take a night off. The motion picture business is about violence. I saw, what did I see? I saw it for the kicks of it. I couldn't even finish it. Was the Fast and Furious 9. So many killings in there. And then, of course, the stars don't get a scratch. You say, well, Mike, it's just a movie. Well, if a child is watching it, here's my second one. And this is unfortunately the most damaging of all that's going on. Don't be led by your private parts. The world wants us violent and living by our private parts. You can see it. Everything is about sexuality now. There's so many, 50 different types of sexuality now? This is a main sign that we are not spiritual. And this is the main thing that we want to do. We want to be spiritual beings. If you're being led by your private parts, that is one of the most shallowest places that you can be. Because sooner or later it ends. So please, this is only the beginning. There's a lot of steps to take. Remember, we're all traumatized. Complex post-traumatic stress disorder. This is what's going on. And your imagination has been traumatized. So let's take this together one step at a time. So stop watching violence and don't be led by your private parts. All right, before we end, let's talk about here with my little co-host. All right, so let's see. Looks can be deceiving. Thank you. Nope, opens more doorways to see. See, you see what you don't see, and it still goes into your brain. These are why a lot of cartoons on children have pictures that look different than what you see straight, just like we were showing in those pictures. Watching violence begets violence. And also, oh, this is a good one. And acceptance of violence. My wife was in the military. They teach you how to be the acceptance of it and then desensitized towards violence. That's a great point. You become desensitized. And that's what we have to stop. We're becoming, there's so many deaths that we don't have the compassion because there's more deaths coming. And each day they have us crowded so much in the media that you don't even have time to dwell on it, because the next day we're talking about Joe Biden and his being cognitive dissonance. It doesn't, everything changes every day. We now don't know who or what we are spiritually or physically. The mind becomes confused, and that's what the deal is. We're confused within our mind, but we'll become an adult of our spirit, an adult of our thought, an adult of our mind. Then we will be able to improve how we think about it. So I want to thank you for listening today. If you're coming in now or if you're coming in later, please subscribe to my channel. Maybe give me a like. I appreciate all the comments. We will see you again tomorrow, 12 noon Pacific.